This is a carnivore diet special, carnivore adapted braciole. Braciole is a meat that's Italian based. It's usually pounded thin, and then you fill and roll the meat and usually braise it in a tomato sauce. This case, we're not doing that. I'm making a filling, and I'm going to stuff beef and pork, and then I'm going to wrap it in bacon. So what you're seeing right here is the filling. It's basically a cup of pork rinds, a cup of shredded mozzarella, 8 ounces of Parmesan cheese, 8 ounces of Feta cheese, a mixture of Italian seasonings that doesn't have sugar in it, Redmond's real salt, and a tablespoon of minced garlic. And we're just going to mix it up in the bowl. And then I'm just going to fill it with as much as I can in each of these pieces. So this is pounded out cheap cuts of beef and pork. And we're just going to roll this thing up real nice and tight. We're going to get them all stuffed real good. And then I'm going to wrap them in bacon. And then we're going to cook them in the Ninja. It's important to note that I've taken some cheap cut boneless pork chops and some boneless beef cutlets, and I butterfly them. And then I take all my aggression out on them with a meat tenderizer, and I pulverize the crap out of both sides of them just to stretch them out and make them larger so I can actually roll these things up. Meat tenderizing is a fantastic practice for anybody that's had a stressful week. You know, you're angry at the government about something, you want to scream Biden while you're beating a piece of meat into oblivion. It is a fantastic energy outlet as far as I'm concerned. So we're just wrapping up with bacon. I've got about 1.5 pounds pulled out. We are doing carnivore, so you want to make sure you don't have any type of bacon that's like apple smoked or cherry smoked. This is just regular bacon. And as that bacon constricts, it's going to pull in on that cutlet, and it's really going to hold everything in there really nice and tight. I picked up this Govee Bluetooth thermometer on Amazon, and it's awesome. I just pierce one of these cutlets, and in it goes. The Ninja is warming up to 390 degrees on air crisp. Shortly after this, I realized I can only get 3 cutlets in at a time. So we're going to do the pork ones first, and we're going to cook these to an internal temperature to about, I think, 130 degrees, and then we pull them out because it's going to continue to cook wrapped up like that in heat, and it's going to rise up into about 145, maybe even 150 degrees, which is right where I like my pork to be, right in the middle section. The beef is going to go in, and I'm going to pull the beef at about 110 internal, and that way it doesn't dry out. The cheaper cuts of beef tend to dry out a lot faster, and so it's going to continue to cook, and it's going to get nice and juicy right at around 125 degrees, and that cutlet is going to be medium because it's beat so thin. So after these are all done, the beef comes out, and I'm just going to let these babies rest. There's no reason to rough them up. There's no reason to rush it. Let them rest. Let them relax just like you would a steak. And after they've cooled down, then you could cut into them. Once you cut into them like that, it just seems to keep the cheese, it's kind of re-solidified so it doesn't pour out into anything. And you're able to cut into this thing and slice it nice and thin. So here we are. We're going to put these off to the side. I'm just going to cut this in the middle so you can kind of see what we're working with. And here you've got a carnivore adapted braciole.